Well, for more on this, joining me now from Washington is Bob Cusack, editor-in-chief of The Hill. Bob, the president has talked about he's on board with this House GOP Obamacare replacement bill. As we spoke with Nancy, we just don't know what the costs or the figures are for coverage. But based on this, do you think this bill has a chance of making it through?
I think it has a chance of making it through, but the early indications are it's going to be very difficult. They're going to vote in 2 of the House committees as early as tomorrow is scheduled for. I think they will get the votes in those committees. The battle arena is going to be on the House floor. Paul Ryan can afford only 21 defections on the House floor. Democrats are not going to vote for this, and they're not going to get one Democratic vote. So both conservatives and centrists who are concerned, the centrists concerned about people losing benefits, are going to have a lot of questions about this. So right now, I think this is an uphill battle to get this through the House. And we're not even talking about the Senate, where Republicans can only afford a couple defections.
Right. And I want to ask you, particularly, you say this is an uphill battle. Talk to me more about this Freedom Caucus, a group of about 40 members who are Republicans that sort of have voted in a block, but only have dealt with a Democratic president. How are they responding to this?
They don't like it, and they're going to have a press conference later this afternoon with Rand Paul to pan the bill. So just because there's a Republican president now really hasn't changed their opinion of what they want. They want the 2015 bill that was vetoed by President Obama. This bill is different. It's more generous on benefits. And Republican leaders, though, are saying, listen, you're getting most of what you want. Just accept this as opposed to getting 0% if the bill doesn't pass. So the Freedom Caucus is definitely very critical of this bill. They want changes, and President Trump seemed to be open to changes, too. But during this process, there's always tweaks that are made. So I think this bill is going to have to be altered in order for it to be passed.
We know, Bob, when President Obama tried to get his bill passed through, they did a great deal of lobbying with liberal groups to get them on board before this was put out. Do you think this was a mistake, that this was unveiled and a lot of these Republican groups just weren't on board?
Well, they had to move forward, and they've been wrestling with this for years, and they finally have one bill that they're coalescing behind that actually can become law, and that's going to be the message, that this can become law. You've promised to do this. You can't go back to your Republican districts and say you didn't vote for this. So now another thing to watch is ARP has signaled some opposition to this. Remember, ARP backed Obamacare, and that helped it get over the finish line. ARP also backed a Medicare drug benefit during George W. Bush's presidency in 2003. That helped it pass. So now ARP is indicating it's going to oppose this because obviously the benefits are not going to be as rich as under Obamacare.
Wow, lots of strikes we're hearing against this one. I want to turn now, though, to the travel ban. We saw the first travel ban that came out so chaotic that Saturday. It actually went into effect. Do you think that this travel ban will actually face the same hurdles as the last one?
It's going to face the same hurdles, but I think it's got a better shot in court because it was handled much better. They were clear on the exceptions that could be to the ban. They spelled it out. They vetted it. And Lindsey Graham, who's been critical of the president, who's actually sitting down with the president today at the White House, former rival in the 2016 campaign, he thinks that this could pass legal muster. So it's going to be decided by the courts, but certainly I think this ban has a lot better shot than the first one, which was rejected by Republican judges.
And this one goes into effect, it's my understanding, March 16th. A lot of people are wondering why they took Iraq off the list. Can you explain that one?
Well, we're partners with Iraq, and their government works cooperatively with ours. And the White House's rationale is, listen, some of these countries are on the list. We're not working with their government. So with Iraq, we are. Iraq also did heavy lobbying to get off the list, and it was a successful effort.
Before I let you go, I've got to ask you about the president who continues to attack President Trump, who continues to attack President Obama. And today there were tweets about Guantanamo Bay detainees and Russia taking advantage. Earlier it was wiretapping. He didn't provide any evidence. I'm curious how Washington is reacting to this Twitter back and forth storm.
I've never seen it in my lifetime that you have presidents going at one another. They're part of this, obviously, rare club. And usually, like George W. Bush, who recently kind of criticized Trump's travel ban, Obama also released a statement on it. Usually, former presidents kind of fade to the background. Here, we're having public clashes with former presidents, and you know that Bill Clinton is going to be chiming in at some point. I think it's remarkable, and obviously this is going to be a big topic at Sean Spicer's press conference of what proof does President Trump have of Obama wiretapping.
That press conference just minutes away. Bob Cusack in Washington. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.